If you like color and culture, theater and dance, then this program is for you as we discuss the Ghana to Texas project here at Austin Faith Dialogue.
This is Austin Faith Dialogue, a public affairs program discussing the important crossroad of religion in life, produced by Austin Metropolitan Ministries in cooperation with KTBC TV. Austin Faith Dialogue highlights the interaction of the religious community with the social and cultural issues throughout our area. Now, today's edition of Austin Faith Dialogue.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Roger Bauer, and I will be the moderator for this program here at Austin Faith Dialogue. Recently, our community here in Austin was blessed to have a group of dance ensemble from Ghana. And with us to discuss this project and what happened in our city during the month of March and April, we have Dr. Stephen Gerald, who's a professor of theater and dance, and Ada Hardin from the Austin Independent School District. Thank you and welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Professor Gerald, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and also about what the project really is and how it got started, that might help us to start a discussion today.
Yes. Well, as you said, I am a professor in the Department of Theater and Dance at the University of Texas. And it was when Dr. Mohammed bin Abdullah, who was the current Minister of Culture in Ghana, was in residency at the University of Texas. He and I had discussed the arts in Ghana. And it was at that time that he said that it might be a very interesting idea to bring the two theater companies from Ghana to the United States as part of a cultural exchange project.
When did your discussions begin to happen?
These discussions began back in May of 1990. And it was at that time that we put together a proposal that was submitted to the Dean of the College of Fine Arts, who looked at the proposal and saw it was a good idea.
So for a couple of years now, you have been discussing the project and getting all the details worked out. When did the dance ensembles actually come to the city of Austin?
Well, it was both a drama ensemble and a dance ensemble that had come. And they came on March of 1993, and they were here until April 3rd of 1993. So for the 3 weeks, they were here in the Central Texas region in Austin, as well as in Greater Austin.
Great, thank you. Ada, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also about how you're involved with the project?
Well, I'm the volunteer resource specialist for Austin Independent School District, and some of my responsibilities are to work out various kinds of projects. I work with various kinds of projects with the different agencies and what have you in the city. And when I was contacted by the Performing Arts Center from UT about the Ghana group, it was my responsibility at that time to schedule the students out, to be in contact with the schools, let them know what type of information was available and those kinds of things, and how we could become involved with that project, and it was wonderful.
Great, so it was coordinated with AISD and also just the community around. So was it directed primarily to the students, or was it directed community-wide with a bit of a tangent for the students also?
Community-wise as well as the students. I think that the fact that the dancers came in, it was just to be able to have the total community involved with that particular project. And we at AISD were just a little part of that, which was, again, like I said, was wonderful. The kids had a great time being there.
And I understand that there was a packet of information for the teachers of the students throughout the community. Can you tell us a little bit about what was in that packet, what the students learned during this time?
Well, it was a history of the Ghana dancers, what they intended to, the kind of impact they intended to present here with us at AISD. One of the things I found that was quite interesting was the information that UT shared with us. There were 40 dancers who came over to do the performances. Not only did they perform at AISD or for AISD, they also performed in the city and the community, Givens Recreation Center.
Yes.
I think they went to San Marcos, San Antonio.
Oh, so they went through the whole Central Texas
yes,
area, not just Austin.
Just not Austin, not just AISD.
So about 40 of the people from Ghana came. where did the finances come from for this project? And if you could tell us, Professor Gerald, where they stayed, how they were received by our community here in Austin, and what your feelings were from them as they came and were welcomed by us.
Well, I'll say that the city of Austin was extremely kind and generous with their time, with their energy, with their warmth in welcoming the Ghanaians here. The project was sponsored in part by the Republic of Ghana, who provided the transportation for the Ghanaians to come round trip from Accra to Austin. And then there were funds that were provided by the Office of the President of the University of Texas, who was at the time Dr. William Cunningham. Mm-hmm. And then there were funds that were provided through the Office of the Dean of the College of Fine Arts. And when they came here to Austin, the troops had stayed in one of the residencies that were usually reserved for students, and they were able to stay there and take their meals at various places around town.
Oh, wow, so they got a real community feel from our city and from our university and from our schools as well. They got a good cross-section of an experience of our culture as well as our experience of their culture, too.
We really hoped that they did. When they first came, we took them to one of the local restaurants, and they came wearing their traditional African costumes, and they made quite an impact on the persons there in the restaurant, particularly when they sang a song celebrating someone's birthday. One of the members had a birthday on that particular day. So they did get to see where sample some of the foods that were served here in town. They did get to see some of the state. We would have liked to have had them see more of what we had to offer here, but their schedule was rather busy as we were trying to share what is so warm and wonderful about Ghanaian culture here in Texas.
Sure. Thank you. You mentioned the outfits and the costumes. Obviously, you would come in an outfit here. I was wondering if you can explain the outfits and where they came from and what they represent culturally.
Well, this is a batakari, which was given to me by the Minister of Culture. And I told him when he gave this to me as a present that I would wear it every time I spoke about the Ghana to Texas project. And this is a costume that originates in the northern part of Ghana. So if you were to go to Ghana today and travel to the north, you would see men wearing this costume.
Okay. It's wonderful. Well, I was not so fortunate to be able to do that. This one came from originally from Ghana, but we purchased it in 1975 in Washington, D.C. at an AME conference. So
terrific. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. What we have now is a very special part of our program today. It's we have a videotape of some of the performances that were made here in our community in Austin and the surrounding areas. And if Dr. Gerald, if you could help us to set up that videotape, tell us a little bit what we're going to see, and then we'll turn to our audience and we'll show our audience the video of the performance that what were experienced in our community. So if you could kind of
Well, I think the video will certainly speak for itself. It was a wonderful video made by one of the students in the radio, television, and film department at the University of Texas. There was a group of students had devoted a semester to making documentaries of the projects, and the particular film that you will see will focus on something that I think is very close to the hearts and minds of Ghanaians, which is their love of children. Ghanaians are extremely family-oriented. They take a lot of pride in their children. They name days. They name their children after certain days of the week.
Oh, wonderful.
There is a national commission for children that is established in Ghana. And this film, I think, will communicate back to Ghanaians, I think, that aspect of what we try to do here that I think they most value, which is love of children, respect for children, and sharing of culture with children.
Okay. Well, let's turn to our videotape and let's see the performances that were given to us by our Ghanaian friends here in Austin.
Children in Austin, I believe, live in in an environment, it seems, that is a rather tolerant one. And it's also an environment, I think, where people encourage new ideas. I believe you would find to a person in Ghana a great love of children. They don't find children bothersome. As a matter of fact, I think they see the promise in youth. And in that promise, they want to affect it so that people here are, so that children here are inspired by the things that they have to offer.
Greetings. It is my pleasure to welcome visitors from Ghana to Texas under the auspices of the University of Texas at Austin College of Fine Arts Ghana to Texas Cultural Exchange Project. The people of Ghana and of Texas have a great deal to offer and to learn from one another. It promises to be an enlightening and memorable exchange. All my best, sincerely, Ann W. Richards, Governor.
A good guest is like an antelope. When he dies, he will leave you his horns. And that is, if you're a good guest, when you leave something good behind you.
The children of Austin, hopefully, will simply have an opportunity to confront another culture head-on.
Children make bamboos, a series of bamboos, some taller to give different pitches, others shorter. And the short ones too, they make out different pitches out of this same short one. And then they create their own sounds out of it. They make their own dances, and they compose their own songs. And that is what we want to expose to the children here, so that they can also see how their fellow children, their fellow friends in Africa feature during their own spare time. That is it.
They will have an opportunity to interact up front and directly with people and form their own opinions. So for them, it's an opportunity, in lieu of making the trip from Austin to Ghana, we are bringing a very small part of Ghana to Austin and having an opportunity for these children to learn about some other place.
I think they're probably going to tell us about Ghana and show us some dances that we've never seen before. We looked up where Ghana was, and it's in South Africa.
I think that they are going to, like, form a circle and dance around, and they're going to have on light colored clothing, and they're going to have really dark skin.
another of the children's play songs. Yeah, it is this. When you go to any village, this is it. You go to any village in the whole of Ghana, you see any at your own spare time, you see children doing this kind of thing.
I learned that they dance very quickly and they use drums and an instrument that I've never seen before. It looked like it had gourds and it looked like a xylophone sort of. My favorite instrument was that bill. It like had beads around it and you pat it. I think that they like for people to participate with them, like almost everybody out of the audience went up on stage and danced and clapped, and now that was
I was just looking. I got up on the stage, though.
I remember that Ghana was in West Africa.
No, I was just talking, but I did move around a little bit.
Once you get involved, you want to learn more. This is a teacher packet created for the teachers for the students who come to the project, who came to see Ghana to Texas. But they actually, we would hope that this packet would also be used throughout the school for other children to experience Ghana to Texas, even though they weren't able to come. I think it's very important in the world that we have that children begin to have more kind of multicultural experiences, and this is only going to be a step for those children to begin to learn to be better citizens of the whole world.
5, 6, here we go. Share, keep going, and you go.
Believe in Me is the Austin branch of the National Dance Institute. It's a rescue mission because our children don't know the opportunities and the potential that they have. When you give them something hard to do, something they're not sure they can, and they do it, something magic happens to them. Ensemble dancers were a brilliant example for our children. That's exactly what we're trying to do in Believe in Me, is get the energy out of these children that is theirs. Now, they saw energy. That's what we need to channel, because this energy will either come out and it will create or it will destroy.
The drums were fantastic. They really moved people and lots of participation. I was totally moved by the whole thing. It was real neat because you could feel the energy coming off, and it got out into the crowd and people were moving around and clapping and things. So it was a really cool experience.
There's so much unfamiliarity, should say that, between people, because you don't get exposed to other people, and so I think the movement is very important. We over in Africa get to know so much about Europe and America, especially from the media and from a lot of Europeans and Americans who come to our countries. But then there's so much of the other movements back into this country, and so I think that interaction is very important to help dispel myths and stereotypes.
We are here for a period of 3 weeks to share ourselves and to share our culture with you.
Persons in Ghana are very family-oriented, and they see the value of providing good, solid foundations for children to grow on.
It's very important to me that the children not just see the performance, but that then afterward they will have this interest to learn about Ghana and Africa.
We want the children here to see what they do every day.
I am thrilled that they had the privilege of seeing those dancers. I wish they could come to every grade school in the city. And I hope that these children, oh, I know that they made a tremendous impression on the children.
We'll be right back with our guests after this short message.
Serving Austin means serving you. That has always been the primary goal of Austin Metropolitan Ministries. We are religion in action through the work of these organizations. Each plays a key role in making the capital city a better place to live, but we can't do it alone. Do you have some spare time, talents, or any resources that you can share? If you do, please call AMM at 472-7627, because serving Austin means serving you.
Welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our discussion with Professor Stephen Gerald and Ada Hardin, who have been involved with the Project Ghana to Texas. I'd like to just get your brief reactions about the videotape that we've just witnessed and just seen. If Professor Gerald, if you could give us a reaction from you.
Well, I think the video was wonderful. I think it really did show what I had said before about how it is that the Ghanaians are very aware of the need to bring culture to children. They have a great fondness for children, a great respect for children, and they use music, dance, drama to draw children together, not only to bring children together with children, but also to bring adults together with children to build a community. And I think that was a very clear aspect that was shown in the videotape.
It sure looked like the children were having a lot of fun, too.
I think so, I think so.
Ada, could you give us your reaction?
Yes, they were having a wonderful time. I mean, the way that the dancers interact with the students on stage was just absolutely incredible. I mean, all of the energy, like Susan said, that the children are going to have to get an energy off anyway, some kind of way or the other. And for them to have an opportunity to go up and interact with the dancers was just something that was absolutely incredible. And it's something that I'm sure that they will always remember. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
It really was beautiful.
Yeah.
As our discussion continues in the months and years to come, there are some curriculum that are offered by AISD, is there not? And I was wondering if you could tell our viewers where we could get that kind of information and more information about Ghana and the project from Ghana from Texas.
Okay, Donna Valique has put together a beautiful packet of information about Ghana, the history and all of that, about the dancers and what have you. And that's available through her office at the Huntington Gallery on the campus of the University of Texas. And I'm pretty sure that if someone were interested in getting that, they would need to be in touch with her for that. Yeah.
I guess then the question, Professor Gerald, then becomes, where do we go from here? What's in the process for continuing dialogue and continuing sharing of culture? Could you explain where we go from here?
Well, that's a very good question, and I am looking forward to continuing to develop a strong relationship between the state of Texas and the Republic of Ghana in continuation of the state resolution that formally recognized the special relationship between Texas and Ghana. And right now, there are many ideas in the pipeline. Every year, the National Commission on Culture in Ghana celebrates, through the performing arts, something called Panifest. And I think they would certainly welcome ideas from interested parties here in the United States to travel to Ghana and to participate in their Panifest event. But we are also trying to build relationships between the University of Texas and the University of Ghana. The university has now established a relationship for exchanges between the University of Texas and the University of Ghana. So this is occurring now with students. We hope faculty will become involved, administrators, and other people not only on campus but throughout the university community.
So it sounds like there might be an exchange from people to go from Texas to Ghana. That may be a possibility in the future?
This is indeed what we hope. I would like to build over the next year or two or three a project of Texas to Ghana, whereby we are able to take representatives from the great state of Texas to the great Republic of Ghana and to share what we know about ourselves with them.
It'd be wonderful to have people sharing their cultures and their ideas, and in this day of multiculturalism and getting to know one another, I'm sure that would be an ambitious and a wonderful project to go with. We just have a few minutes remaining in our program. I was wondering if we can just kind of get some final comments and maybe some thoughts about the project from both of you before we leave today. So Ada, if you could give us just a final comment or a final thought from you.
Well, it was such a wonderful experience for me, and I think I can speak for the students and teachers of the Austin Independent School District, how much we enjoyed having the dancers here. We certainly hope that, you know, Stephen, that you all can bring them back to us and in the very near future. And we hope that it will be an annual kind of thing.
Yes.
I really do.
And Professor Gerald, if you could give us a final brief comment or a thought from you too.
Well, I think this Ghana to Texas project is the beginning of what I think the university is trying to do, which is to reach out into the many cultures within the United States and abroad in order to bring that information back to enrich the populations on campus. And one of the things that we thought this Ghana to Texas project would do would be to help the institution to realize its mission, which is, I think, to bring cultural diversity to the students on campus. So we're hoping that this is just the first step in that process, and there was an enormous amount of support from students, from faculty, from administrators, from staff about this project, and we're certainly looking forward to it continuing.
It sure looked like from the videotape and from our discussion that people were just energized and very enthusiastic about all of the things that happen in the sharing of our two cultures and our peoples. On behalf of Austin Faith Dialogue, I'd like to thank you for joining us today and to describe and to share your thoughts and your ideas about it. And so we thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
We also thank you, our viewers, to being with us today as we have discussed the Ghana to Texas project, and we hope you continue to share with us your time, and we thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again very soon.